the traits and principles of the United States Marine Corps leadership. The 14 leadership traits and the 11 leadership principles. So what is leadership? The definition of leadership is the sum of those qualities of intellect, human understanding, and moral character that enable a person to inspire and control a group of people successfully. So what does that mean? Broken down? It means having the ability to accomplish a mission and inspiring others to follow your lead. And doing that in a way that brings people together. Now, when I was thinking about joining the Marine Corps, I went into the recruiter's office, and he took me into a back room, which was a small room. It had a table in it and 2 chairs. And he sat me down, so it was just me and the recruiter directly across from me. And he laid out on the table the 14 leadership traits of the Marine Corps. And each one was listed individually on a small placard, a piece of plastic, about 2 by 3. And those 14 leadership traits are justice, judgment, dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, enthusiasm, bearing, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, and endurance. Now, I was only 17 at that time, so I really didn't have a good understanding of what all of these meant. But he asked me to pick out 3. So he laid them all on the table, and he asked me to pick out the top 3 leadership traits that stood out to me, traits that I would like to have. So I did that, and I don't exactly remember which ones I picked. But at the end, he said, I can give those to you. And at that moment, I knew it was time for me to join the Marine Corps. Now, I was only 17, so my parents had to sign off on that. And I would spend the next 3 to 4 months in the Marine Corps recruit program, where every weekend I would go to the recruit station to work on these things, as well as physical fitness and things like that. But the 14 leadership traits, the acronym that, to help us remember, JJ, did, tie, buckle, are things that are still ingrained in me today, and things I hope to instill in you along the way. So I'll talk to you a little bit about each one, what it means to me, and how you might be able to apply it to your life. So the first leadership trait, justice. Giving reward and punishment according to the merits of the case in question. The ability to administer a system of rewards and punishments impartially and consistently. A leader must demonstrate fairness and impartiality with his Marines in order to maintain their trust and respect. So basically what it means is to have this trait of justice is that you are fair, you are confident, and you are consistent in how you treat everybody. Regardless of your personal feelings toward that person or that initiative, you will always treat it with fairness. Judgment, the ability to weigh facts and possible courses of action in order to make sound decisions. Sound judgment allows a leader to make appropriate decisions in the guidance, training, and employment of his Marines. Basically, judgment means being able to take into consideration all the facts and being able to make a decision that's appropriate at that time for him and his Marines. Dependability, The certainty of proper performance of duty. A leader who is dependable gives his Marines confidence in his abilities to make the right decisions. Basically, this means doing what you say you're going to be doing and showing up when you say you're going to be there in all aspects. Now, this also goes hand in hand with one further on down the line, integrity. Doing what you say you're going to do it at the time you're going to do it. Initiative. Taking action in the absence of orders. Marines must understand their commander's intent and use it to make appropriate decisions in the absence of direct guidance or supervisions. That basically means that you know what the job is that you're supposed to be doing, and you do it regardless of whether or not somebody tells you to do it. Examples, growing up, doing homework, not waiting to the last minute or not waiting for your parents or your teachers to remind you. On the athletic field, training on your own, staying after practice, getting there before practice, working out on your own on what you need to improve, taking that initiative to make yourself better. And doing that when no one else is around and no one else is giving you orders. Decisiveness. The ability to make decisions promptly to announce them in a clear, forceful manner. It is often better to make that a decision is being made promptly than a potentially better one being made at the expense of more time. A leader who is confident in his decisions instills confidence in his Marines. So this is a tricky one, decisiveness. It doesn't always mean it's the perfect decision. It just means it's probably the best one at that time. With all the information available, being able to make a decision is key. So understanding that, making a decision, and then going forward with the plan. You can always adjust along the way, but we don't want to waver and we don't want to waste time trying to come up with the perfect plan. Make a decision and act. The next leadership trait is tact. The ability to deal with others in a manner that will maintain good relations and avoid offense. More simply stated, tact is the ability to say and do the right thing at the right time. Consistently treating peers, seniors, and subordinates with respect and courtesy is a sign of maturity. It is conducive to mission accomplishment. So basically what tact means is being able to talk to different people at different times in a respectful manner and in a respectful tone that takes feelings out of the situation. Being able to understand as well as be understood in certain situations, using your words and your mannerisms that are congruent with how you want to be perceived. So that means not flying off the handle. That means not being disrespectful. But in order to get the mission accomplished, you have to be able to talk to people at certain levels at all times. Integrity. I touched a little bit on this one earlier when I was talking about dependability. So integrity is the uprightness of character and soundness of moral principles. The quality of truthfulness and honesty. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is looking. Now, I think this is the hardest and probably the most important one here, because we're faced with challenges and opportunities every day. When no one's looking, we can take the easy route. We don't have to get up on time. We don't have to turn in our assignment. We don't have to pick up that piece of paper or that trash that's on the ground. But having integrity means that you are going to do the things based on your character that even when no one is looking. So that means even when no one's looking, you're going to pick up that trash and you're going to throw it in the garbage. Even when no one is looking, you're going to do your assignment. You're going to read those pages because you know you'll be a better person for it. And when you have that integrity and you can prove it to yourself, that gives you a lot of confidence. Enthusiasm. The display of sincere interest and exuberance in the performance of duty. Displaying interest in a task and showing optimism that it can be successfully completed greatly enhances the likelihood that the task will be successfully completed. So doing your work in school, on the field, at home with enthusiasm, maybe even the face of doubt, when some people think it might not be able to be accomplished, and you're a leader, you still have to make sure that you are showing some level of enthusiasm, so that will trickle down to the people that you're leading. Perfect example is when you're on the football field, when you're at wrestling, when you're playing soccer or basketball. When sometimes it gets hard at practices, you're tired, it's at the end, you're doing sprints. Showing optimism enhances team performance. And we can only do that when it starts with ourselves. And once you start doing that over time, again and again, people will start to respond as well. Bearing, creating a favorable impression in carriage, appearance, and personal conduct at all times. Bearing bestows a Marine the ability to conduct himself as a leader and a professional that others will respect. So again, bearing has a lot to do with tact as well. So bearing is making sure that we're continuing to put a good impression forward in our in our appearance and our conduct at all times. So what do I usually tell you when you wake up? It's time to get up, make your beds, brush your teeth, and comb your hair. These are things that will help you with your personal appearance, but also your bearing. Showing that you are a leader by doing these simple tasks every day. Unselfishness, avoidance of providing for one's own comfort and personal advancement at the expense of others. The quality of looking out for the needs of your subordinates before your own is the essence of leadership. Now, there's a saying that goes around in leadership that leaders eat last. And I think that's true in a lot of different areas. True leaders make sure that the people underneath them get taken care of first before their own needs. And I see it oftentimes when you guys are dealing with younger kids at sports or activities, making sure that they get taken care of, they get a chance, they get the opportunity. Unselfishness is one of those characteristics that'll stay with you for your entire life if you continue to hone it and develop it as being seen as somebody that's always going to be there and is always going to have the best interests of those around him in mind above their own. Courage, the moral, mental, and physical strength to do what is right, to adhere to a higher standard of personal conduct, and to make tough decisions under stress and pressure. Marine leaders must know and stand for what is right, even in the face of popular disfavor. Additionally, Marine leaders are expected to demonstrate physical courage in training and on the battlefield. Courage can take form in a lot of different ways. Now, we talk about it here on the battlefield, but at our homes too. Standing up for the kids that get picked on. Maybe going against the crowd when it comes to the way we dress, putting our appearance first, putting our physical fitness first. Sometimes that goes against what's being taught today. Applying ourselves in areas that are important to us that might not be popular, or a lot of people don't do it, but you still do it because you have a passion for it. That's real courage, being who you are and being authentic. And sometimes being a leader takes courage. Voicing your opinion, being the voice of your teammates, picking them up when they're down. That stuff's not easy. That's hard. That takes courage. Knowledge. Knowledge is understanding of science or an art. The range of one's information, including professional knowledge and understanding of your Marines. Knowledge gives a leader credibility with his Marines and enhances his ability to make appropriate decisions. Always growing is what I think of as knowledge. Growing as a person, understanding ourselves, understanding the people that we care about and that are around us, understanding of our peers, what makes them tick, what do they like, what do they don't like, being a leader in whatever field that you are, on the field for football, understanding your position so that no one else knows it better than you, knowing the playbook, knowing what the coaches expect. At school, understanding what your teachers expect, knowing the information that they're teaching, and then helping others. Loyalty. A leader expresses loyalty to his subordinates by supporting their needs and ensuring their welfare in a number of ways. Subordinates express loyalty by positively and efficiently carrying out the leader's orders. The quality of faithfulness to country, the corps, and the unit to one's seniors, subordinates, and peers. So what does this really mean, loyalty? Is that you show loyalty to whatever thing that you're pursuing. Now, if you're in sports and you're on the field, football field, you're showing loyalty to your team and your coaches by showing up to work hard, by knowing the playbook, and by never giving up. Now, in school and at home, you show loyalty by listening to your parents, to your teachers, to understanding what they would like to have done, and then also helping them lead by example. You set the example that your parents set. Endurance. The mental and physical stamina measured by the ability to withstand pain, fatigue, stress, and hardship. Marine leaders must be able to hold up to extraordinary feats of physical and mental endurance if mission accomplishment so requires. Now, this isn't just for Marines. This is also for people in general. Now, I know you might be still young enough, or you still might remember the COVID situation, the pandemic that happened a few years ago. When we were driving in the car, and the order came down, the stay-at-home order. I don't know if you remember this, but I turned to you and I said, this doesn't change anything. We're still going to work hard. We're still going to prepare our bodies and our minds. Now, I expect this at all times. In a nation in America where the average American man cannot do 10 push-ups and cannot even do one pull-up, it's imperative as men that we take care of ourselves physically and mentally. And fitness is a big part of that. I will always continue to push you physically. I will always continue to challenge you mentally so that your endurance continues to build. Because one day, you might not see it now, you might not think about it now, but one day your life might depend on that. So these are the 14 leadership traits of the Marine Corps. And these also tie into our day-to-day lives. Now, I want you to go back and I want you to kind of maybe think about what are your top 3 that you'd like to improve on. Is it justice, judgment, dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, enthusiasm, bearing, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, or endurance? Pick your top 3 and then start to work on it. As always, I'm going to be proud of you no matter what. I can already see a lot of these traits in you. But I know there's more work to do, and I'm going to be here to help. So if you need me, I'll be here. And I hope that you keep on climbing to become the best version of yourself.